Hello, welcome to the Drunk for Life podcast. My name is John. I'm your host. Here today with my good friend Graham. How are you, Graham?
Good, good. Thank you. I want to be like your sidekick, not a co-host.
Uh, you're like shit. You're like what's Paul Schaefer? Paul Schaefer is that was he
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah,
Letterman, right? Yeah,
yeah.
but
I
I
want to
want you to
be.
be the guy from shit. What's his name from Leno, who never did anything.
Yeah,
He just like he just laughed at like
yeah. I'll
funny
just laugh.
jokes.
You take over.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
just
gonna
be here.
be just as funny as Jay Leno on this podcast.
Okay.
That's my goal.
Well,
Uh,
I don't know
what
if you're paying
is
the writers enough of this podcast for to be as funny.
this is a union podcast
Yeah,
where we believe in strong unions,
yeah, yeah.
especially in the writers' room.
Oh yeah.
Uh, we've negotiated a lot regarding our use of AI in this podcast.
It's all AI.
It's all AI. Yeah. What is Drunk for Life? I guess is the first question. I guess, is a movie podcast. We're going to talk about movies that people have heard of, that people like, maybe. Uh,
Sometimes.
we might talk about other stuff because there's more to life than just movies. There's more to you can. Let's see. We could talk about video games. Do you play video games? Because I do not, so I probably won't talk about that.
No, I feel like once every like 5 years, I get the urge to play a video game, and so like I'll like during the pandemic, I went and bought like a PS4, and then I played for like 12 hours straight, and then like I haven't really touched it since.
Is it just like a Blu-ray player for you now?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I still have like my Xbox that we got like in 2015, I want to say, and that I don't have like a smart TV or anything, and so I just have
Hmm.
my Xbox. And the only games I play on it are FIFA 20, I want to say 2016, or maybe I got a new one for 2020. And I used to play 2K a lot, and I feel like at some point in my life, I just made the decision I'm just playing sports games. I'm not playing any other game because I don't have the time to commit to like 80-hour campaign or like play
Yeah,
like any game that is hard what at all. Like if it kills me once, I'm like, I'm done with this game.
yeah, it's over.
I
I
can't
got
play
it for
it.
2K basically, and yeah, 2K is like the game I played the most for sure. Yeah, I tried a lot of the other like big game. Like I tried to play like Death Stranding because everyone on
Oh
Twitter
yeah,
was like, "Oh,
the
it's
the
so,"
Kojima game. Yeah,
and I was just like, "I don't get this. I'm just running around. I have like a backpack or something." It really didn't make sense to me.
yeah. But with 2K, like I don't even play like online or anything. I'm just like play career mode,
Yeah, I was just playing career mode.
career mode, and I'm playing against like the computer.
Yeah, and I'm like on the easiest setting
Oh yeah,
too.
I'm
Like,
like I better win MVP like 6 times in a
oh
row.
yeah, if I tried to play like online, people would get so mad at me. Like people would be like yelling at me on my like headset or whatever, and then, so I
Do
just
you, do
quit.
you play with the Rockets or who do you play with?
Yeah, mostly the Rockets. I'm trying to think. I guess I probably played with the Nets some because at the time Harden was on the Nets. I'm a big James Harden fan.
You've had to change allegiances several
A
times.
lot.
So
Yeah, now I'm a Cavs fan.
you have your cast.
Yeah,
Uh, so as you can see, Drunk for Life podcast. It's going to be a movie podcast,
yeah.
explicitly just movies.
That's all I know.
um, yeah. So yeah, Drunk for Life. I guess is an extension. At least for me, it's an extension of like a critical project for that started with Lucky Star, the LuckyStarFilm.net with some of our friends Seema and Nathan, and that jumped over to a Substack project that is much more sloppily edited, the Drunk for Life Substack.com. And Graham, you've been someone who's been very supportive of all those things, and you're someone who I really enjoy talking to. So to start off a podcast, once again, strictly about movies is it's just fun. Um,
Yeah.
Now, what we're going to talk about in this here episode one is the best films of 2025, at least
Yeah.
some of them. We're gonna go. We've each picked a film from our respective top tens, and we're gonna talk about those films that we picked. The films are Saiyaara, the Indian film from last year, and which was on my list, and that you hadn't seen. And I watched Yasuko, Songs of Days Past, which is a movie from Japan, which was on your list, and I hadn't seen. We're gonna go through the top tens later on, so you can kind of see the fantastic taste that we both have, and then we'll talk about those films. But first, Graham, I just want to ask you. I mean, we talked a little bit about your fact that I guess you're an NBA fan. You love to play video games about
Oh
being
yeah.
an NBA, about the NBA,
Oh
NBA
yeah.
2K. What have you been watching lately?
Movie wise, I haven't been watching very much. Mostly just been watching the Rockets play. They were really bad all of January, pretty much, but they're kind of turning around a little bit at this point. Um,
Are they like right like what are they right now? Like a playing team? Or are they like on the
no, I mean
bottom
they're like third in the West, I think, right
third?
now, third or fourth. But yeah, it's just like they just don't look that good. I mean, they need like a ball handler, which they don't have, and
Oh yeah, because Fred VanVleet is he out for the season or is he?
yeah, he like tore his ACL right before the season started. There was like some hope that he could come back before the playoffs, and that might still be possible. Did you see the Dame is like going to be in the 3 point competition, even though he has like a torn ACL?
I mean, you don't need to have a working ACL to get us
I
some
guess
shots.
not. But you still kind of like run, like it's still timed and like right, like you run
I guess
around
so.
and
Yeah, but you're not like it's not like a quick
you're not
explosiveness.
sprinting.
You're not
Yeah, I
like doing
guess.
step backs. You're not doing
I
step backs
guess it was
in the
just yeah, it's just crazy to me that he's already going to be doing that. But
right. It's
anyway,
been oh yeah. Wait, so he's he went back to the Trailblazers, right?
yeah, yeah,
Right, the
yeah,
Trailblazers.
yeah.
There was one of the I saw like a maybe it was a Shams post. It was about how Lillard is working behind the scenes to get like Giannis to the
Yeah,
Trailblazers,
yeah,
which honestly was one of the funniest timelines
yeah.
ever.
Yeah. Well, because like it just clearly did not work. The two of them did not work together, really. So it's like it's funny to imagine him going.
Well, I mean, one thing that wouldn't be going in that trade is Doc Rivers as the
Oh,
coach.
oh yeah,
So
oh
maybe
yeah,
it works better that way. But also,
yeah.
it's funny to imagine like what the sell is. Like, what vision are you selling? Like, hey, Giannis,
Right,
I know you want
right.
to win a championship. Also, I can't play this season.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, you can come play with this IDF soldier
Oh,
that's like a fake all star.
I forgot. I forgot. Is he on the world team this year?
I think so.
Oh God.
Um, yeah, and the number of votes he got is like it's so fake. It was clearly like Israel pumping the numbers.
But that reminds me of like when Andrew Wiggins, I think, was voted as an All Star because like there was like he has like some K-pop connection for some reason. He got voted as an All Star. Or shit, like the year that Boban, I think, was it Boban?
There's a
No, it
K.
was God. Who was it? It was one random Warriors player
Uh
who was like the fan, but was like top five. But the coaches were like,
huh.
"No, we're not getting." But it was just people from his country that were voting for him. Can't
Right,
remember who.
right.
Maybe it was Sazda. Was it Sazda Pachulia? Was it him?
Maybe. I mean, it's almost like that with Shingun from Turkey. Like, I feel like he's just super popular in Turkey and gets like a lot. Like, he's usually like top 10 in fan voting. I
I
think
mean,
just
he
from
fit
like,
right in. They don't play defense in the
yeah,
All-Star
yeah,
game.
yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah,
there's no KD would be on the other side, so it wouldn't matter.
yeah, yeah,
Man, I honestly have to tell you, like, I've barely seen, I haven't seen like any basketball this season. I feel like my interest in basketball was just completely killed by one man, Nico Harrison.
yeah.
Like, what was so the trade was Luca or shit? It was Anthony Davis and I forget who else. Like no picks. I don't think there were any picks. But like it was
Yeah,
like a
and
second round
AD's
pick.
already gone.
Yeah. So like Luca's gone. Uh, Anthony Davis is gone. Nico Harris is gone. I feel like Clay Thompson's like, what the hell? What's going on here?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's going on here?
I saw people posting like the Will Smith meme, like where he's in the
Yeah,
house
and
alone at the end of it.
Kyrie is injured, and Jason
Yeah,
Kidd's still there. It's really, I mean,
yeah.
Cooper Flag. He seems like a good player, but
He's good. Yeah, I like him.
it's just
I wish I could have seen like Kyrie, him, and AD play together because I feel like that could be a pretty decent team. But
yeah, because they don't have like I guess they feel like they have complementary skill sets. They wouldn't, it's not like the
yeah,
Luca
yeah,
where you would have the ball in his hands the entire time.
yeah, yeah. So I feel like they could have played well together, but we'll never know.
You never
We'll
know.
never know. Who's the new GM who took over for Nico?
I think it was like an internal hire. Like they just got someone who was already there.
Yeah,
It's just so
they
good.
got a new they got a new Patsy.
No, and I was reading like a report like Mark Cuban is he talking to like some
I saw this that like he might be trying to buy the team back or
just like
something.
the worst thing.
So do you think this was all like a PR move or something where like he wanted to get rid of Luca for some reason, so he like sold the team, then got rid of Luca, and now he's gonna buy the team back so he can be like, I didn't get rid of Luca.
No, that's like way too galaxy brain. Like
I don't know,
it's like
man.
put the tinfoil hat on
Yeah, yeah,
type
no.
of thinking. No, I mean it's always
I'm gonna
like
start. I'm surprised other people haven't said this. Maybe they have, and I just haven't seen it.
no, it's
But
like
that's my new theory.
whenever something bad happens, you should probably just accept like it would say blame incompetence rather than like
No,
maliciousness, I guess.
no,
Nico
no, no,
Harrison, I'm
no,
like,
no.
that's was it like Anthony Davis was his guy from like for years, and he
Mm-hmm.
basically was like, Luca's kind of fat actually. Luca's kind of fat, and I don't like that.
Yeah,
And also might have like a slight distaste for European players maybe.
yeah.
So it's just like one guy this decides the future of Dallas basketball.
I don't buy it. That's too simple.
But also you're like relying on also you're like basically selling it to an ownership group that doesn't actually know anything about basketball. It's not like
Right,
what's his name, the Demond people know anything about basketball.
right.
So you can see one of the main reasons why I haven't really watched any basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I get like I remember when the trade happened, and it's like Shams or whoever had said it, like that he even felt like uncertain when he was like sending the tweet, like he was like shaking, and that's how I felt like when I saw it. I was just like, what? I was like, okay, this is a dumb fake trade, like that someone posted.
Someone's like in the trade machine and it's like,
Yeah,
wait, this went through? What?
yeah, yeah. It's just like no one would say yes to this,
No,
and
it'd
yeah, it's
probably be
just
like rejected because like, well, there's no draft compensation. How many first draft picks are you buying? Wait, none? What?
yeah. I mean,
You're
I
gonna
just
throw
can't
Austin Reeves
imagine.
in the trade for
Right, right,
us?
right. I just can't imagine, like, especially being like a kid in Dallas who like loves Luca, like that would literally like I don't know, that would mess you up.
Yeah, it really sucks.
Yeah.
But
So I feel you.
I'm glad your Rockets team is doing well. Um,
I mean, I don't know. Some people when we were having a bad January, I saw all these tweets that were like, "Blow it up." I will say, like last year was definitely more fun to watch, like because they were overperforming and like I actually really like Dylan Brooks and just think
Remind
he's
me,
like fun.
when did KD join the team?
This is like his first season with them, so it was like at the I guess it was like over the summer that the trade happened with
Okay.
they sent Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks over there, and it's crazy because Jalen Green literally played almost every game with the Rockets, and then he's been injured almost this whole time he's been with the Suns. So part of me was also wondering like maybe they knew that his hamstring was in trouble or something. I don't know. Like they're anyway. I really like Jalen Green. I know he was obviously like super inconsistent and is probably not really a great number two pick, but I just kind of liked his whole. I just liked the vibe of the whole team and the way everyone got along. So that last year was really fun. It's a little less fun when you have KD and there's like much higher expectations and like we don't have a ball handler, so I'm seeing just like KD turn the ball over like 5 times a game or whatever. It's just like yeah.
uh,
What have you been watching?
I've been, as you can see, this is a this is now a basketball podcast.
Yeah,
We're the New Hoop Collective.
yeah. Ball for life.
Uh, I've been watching a lot of anime lately.
Mm.
I've been watching this show called. I just finished it like yesterday, I think. Yeah, yesterday. It's called Mobile Suit Gundam:
Mm.
Iron Blooded Orphans. You know what Gundam is, Graham?
So when I was a kid, I saw like Toonami
Yeah.
on Cartoon Network, and so I'd watch like Dragon Ball Z. I'd watch Gundam, but like Mobile Suit Gundam. Um,
What was that? Was it like Gundam Seed or Gundam Wing?
Gundam Wing was the one I remember really liking as a kid. But then I became too Bazanian to watch anime.
Yeah. I always like. I feel like uh, it's hard to reconcile like animation with the Byzantine. uh,
Yeah, yeah,
outlook because nothing, there's no photographic realism with this shit.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I there's certain things that I'll end up like. I mean, I like Miyazaki a lot of times, but it's never something I like seek out. Like I don't know. There's more of like a barrier for me to like I don't know get into it, even though I can like appreciate it. Um, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
feel
what's
like
it? Is this like a new Gundam
yeah,
show?
no, it's like from 10 years ago.
Okay.
So like the Gundam has it's been like around for like almost 50 years now, and I haven't seen like the more classic ones like the original Gundam from like the late 70s or like basically anything from the 80s. I haven't seen either. Um, but Gundam has a sort of like overarching timeline of events in the universe, which is called the Universal Timeline.
Hmm.
Uh,
We got one of
and
those too.
and so a lot of the series take place along that timeline. So like one show might take place like further in the future, and some might be like in the past, but they all kind of like connect in this timeline of events in this world. Iron Blooded Orphans is, as far as I can tell, outside of that timeline. So it's a kind of like standalone story. You don't need to know anything about Gundam or any of that stuff. Um, and it basically talks about takes starts in Mars. Mars is a colony. It takes place 300 years after what's called the Calamity War, which basically saw like a quarter of humanity be destroyed uh,
Damn.
after a bunch of like factions in the Earth were fighting against each other. And there's apparently like half of the moon or like a quarter of the moon was blown off in this war.
Damn.
Uh, so in Mars, they have this there's like basically a colony that's controlled by several factions on Earth, uh,
Hmm.
and we follow this group of kids, which are basically child soldiers, uh, and we follow them like they have like a complete like basically like slaves, child soldiers. They call them human debris. So like they're the very first in the front, like so they can be basically wiped out by the enemy.
My God.
Uh, Kind of like human shields,
Sounds
basically.
horrible.
Exactly. Yeah.
You
And
watch this?
and a lot of them. So like the way that the what happens to these kids is that they get like this operation performed on them, so they can pilot the mobile like armor, not a Gundam frame, but just a regular one. And like I think like 4 out of 10 kids who go with this operation make it, and the rest like might be like they might lose like their ability to walk or they might die.
Jesus.
So it's yeah. So
This is gruesome.
yes, it is gruesome. I mean, the Gundam shows are always about like the futility of war and like
Hmm.
children and young people being thrust like towards violence, and there's always like several political factions that are trying to advance their agenda and take over the world, or like take over like the production of half metal on Mars, or gain influence with some party. There's always like some dude with a mask who has a hidden agenda about trying to take over this organization. Uh, the show follows this group of kids on Mars as they basically kind of gain their independence by fighting, and then kind of become like for hire mercenaries.
Hmm.
But of course, violence follows them everywhere as they try to find a place for them to belong. Gundam is there's always lots of fun. Even though I described it as horrific, uh, it's always like really it hits like a pleasure center of like it's kind of like it has like a political point of view. War is bad, but it's also
Hmm.
very like simplistic about it. It's never like, oh yeah, there's like nuance to this. It's more like, yeah, it's war is bad.
Hmm.
Colonialist projects in Mars are doomed to fail. Uh,
Hmm.
there's always like a lot of that background of political critique that I always appreciate, even if it's within the body of this kind of boys adventure, and like every episode has to fucking like mecha battle
Right.
because they need to sell the models, the model kits of the
Sure.
Gundams. So every episode is like, all right, here's the Gundam. 2 episodes
Hmm.
later, by the way, we upgraded the Gundam to a
Right.
new model. It's got like these little updates. That's another model to sell now. And the bad
Gotcha.
guys also have their Gundams as well, and all of them. I can't tell the fucking difference between any Gundams. Like some are different colors, but if you ask me to choose, like, okay, which one was this in this show versus like Gundam Seed or Gundam Wing, I honestly wouldn't be able to tell you.
Yeah.
Iron Blooded Orphans. The one thing I guess I can say about it that it's like 50 episodes long, and you kind of like see them make alliances in the world as they kind of build up their reputation.
Hmm.
But like the show is also about showing how those alliances, which are basically as only as good as as the moment that they're made. Like
Right.
2 episodes later, things have changed and it's no longer a good alliance. So like now they're betrayed by the people who they trusted,
It's
and
like Survivor.
yeah, there's like there's a lot of twists, but also just a very brutal show.
Did you ever see Survivor?
Survivor, the
Yeah.
the reality. I saw it like when it came out. when it came out.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, but there's no Gundams. So that's really an issue.
Well, that's what the new season is.
But isn't it like they're inviting like is it like the 50th or
It's the
something?
50th season. Yeah.
Does it take place in the Universal Century?
Good. Is there like one Gundam creator that's like been overseeing all of this, or has it kind of like?
The guy who kind of like wrote and directed like the early ones and who's kind of comes back every once in a while to like do a new entry. His name is Domino, and he has a reputation of kind of saying kill them all because
Mm,
his characters usually Gundam characters a lot of times don't make it to the end, and in this show, for sure, this show kind of follows that. It wasn't like I don't think it was written by him, but Gundam has that trajectory of like, yeah, the characters need to learn that their battles have consequences.
yeah.
So all throughout, they're like losing comrades, they're losing people, like everyone's dying, and like they're being cornered into like sacrificing themselves. These are like
Mm,
12-year-old kids.
damn. Did you ever see
Uh,
Gundam Wing?
Gundam Wing, I saw like the first 10 episodes, and I didn't like it because I
The
thought,
main guy's name like Hero or something.
well, a constant across Gundam properties is like ridiculous names
Mm.
that are very funny to pronounce, or like very funny when they're pronounced in the Japanese dub, because they're just there was a yeah they take pleasure in saying the names because they're so like kind of obviously made up and ridiculous. Um,
Are you just being racist, or they're actually made up?
well, a lot of them are just like nonsense names.
Uh-huh.
Like there's some that like okay, I can see that. It sounds like an actual name. Like there's one character who is billed as the Maiden of Revolution, the Maiden of Revolution, because she wants to inspire people across the planets to kind of be able to be free and away from violence. Her name is Kudelia Ein Bernstein, which sounds like
Mm.
a kind of more or less reasonable name. But then there's like a
It doesn't
guy.
sound Japanese though.
What's up?
It doesn't sound like a traditional
No,
Japanese
it's
name.
not. And that's the thing is like because it's not a traditional Japanese name, some characters have that, some don't. It's kind of like a
Hmm.
mishmash. But the ones that don't are usually very like weird,
Yeah.
very weird and silly like sounding names. I'm pretty sure like Gundam Wing also had some weird and silly names.
Yeah.
Besides Gundam, I haven't been able to watch much honestly. Besides Gundam, I feel like Gundam like took over my life for a few days. I was like, all right, I'm just watching Gundam until I finish it.
Oh, the
Uh,
main thing I was watching though before the Rockets was Landman. I messaged you about it a little bit. This show's insane, but I don't want to take over the whole thing talking about Landman. But anyway, you go on.
That'll be the next episode.
That'll be the next episode.
Yeah, we'll just dedicate to Landman.
Drunk for Landman.
Landman. Is shit, man. We could go visit. If you come down to Dallas, I'll show we can go visit some of the locations.
I
Let's see.
know.
Can we get? Do you think we can get what's his name on the pod?
Billy Bob.
No, well, Billy
Or
Bob too, but Let's see. We
Tyler
get
Tyler
Tyler
Sheridan or
Sheridan.
whatever. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm like fascinated by him. His just like his empire of TV.
I mean, I can drive over to Fort Worth and see some locations, see what's going on there.
Most of it's in Midland, which I think is like
I think
quite
the
a number of hours
office.
away.
I think
But
the I
they go
think
to
his.
Fort Worth like every episode.
Well, I thought his offices were like on the outskirts of Fort Worth, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly. I do know that they shot some stuff in downtown Dallas. Maybe
yeah,
for
for sure.
Linus, it's
Yeah,
another one of the shows.
yeah. There's a number of stuff in like Fort Worth and Dallas that they shoot, like John Hamm and Demi Moore's characters. But yeah, I was also
Dude,
interested in Lioness because it's about I'm pretty sure it's about Delta Force, which is the like kind of covert op that this book that I read last year that was kind of a hit, like nonfiction book, the Fort Bragg Cartel, which is about just like Fort Bragg in North Carolina and this like Delta Force group that are like running kind of these like pretty much unsupervised, insane missions. And then like Tyler Sheridan or Taylor Sheridan, I can't
I
remember
think
what
it's
his name is.
Taylor. I think it's Taylor.
Taylor Sheridan. He's like he made a TV show about it. All like I don't know. It's just so I'm just kind of curious about it. I'm also just very interested in like the ways that probably most like I mean we all know that like Marvel or whatever like the government like consults on the film or like the military consults on the films and all this stuff and like I definitely feel like Landman, I feel like definitely like the oil industry just like probably paid for that show or something because they wanted. There's all this weird like anti-environmentalist stuff in it. Like I don't know, it's crazy. But next episode, that's a
Next episode,
tease. That's a
drunk for
tease.
Landman. Next
Yeah,
episode. I haven't seen it. I just know like
it's
I know
not good, but so don't watch it necessarily.
I know some of the like some like of the jokes is like Demi Moore spends like half the season like swimming or something.
Yeah, yeah, and like John Hamm is his character's only on the phone. Like he's that's all he does is just
Do you
talk
think
on the
he
phone.
actually went to like Fort Worth to shoot his
I
agency?
wouldn't be surprised if honestly, yeah, they just shot it like on a green screen or something, or like in
Yeah.
a script apartment in LA
Or
or
did Jerry Jones and John Hamm actually share physical space
yeah,
together?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jerry Jones has a cameo. It's so weird.
Um, Graham, I think it's time we hit
Let's get to it.
do what we came here to do.
Yeah,
Just
talk
talk
about
about cinema,
movies.
talk about movies. That's right. Uh, let's see. So last month in January, we published at Lucky Star our top 10, kind of our year in review piece, which is basically the three editors of the website, myself, Nathan, and Seema, invited a bunch of people who are kind of fellow travelers to post their lists, posted their top tens and five discoveries. Um, and what we're doing today is we're going to talk about one film from each of our top tens that the other hasn't seen, and we'll kind of just talk, see what conclusions about the world and cinema we come to from that discussion. Um, just for full disclosure, here are our top tens. I'll start. My number one was Boy and Dog by Takahisa Seze from Japan.
Classic,
She Taught Me Serendipity by
classic.
Akiko Oku. Graham did not count that as a 2025 release. He's a strict
Yeah, world premiere.
2024.
It probably honestly, yeah, would have been like top five for me though if I counted it. I mean, I
Uh,
saw it in 2025. But
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
My Beloved Stranger, Takahiro Miki, another Japanese film.
Didn't see it, but I trust you on it, and I'd like to see it.
The Currents by Milagros Mumentaler, which
Very good movie.
is going to get a release this year from Kino Lorber
Hmm.
uh, in the US. Bad Girl, the Indian film, Bacha
Classic.
Bharat.
Total classic. I feel like we've gotten a number of people to watch this from the Lucky Star list.
Three Friends, Emmanuel Muret,
Love that
France,
movie.
Ella McKay,
Classic.
James O. Brooks. Now, the film that you have picked is Saiyaara, the
Hmm.
Indian
Hmm.
film by
Hmm.
Mohit Suri. And my number nine is a diptych, uh, En el Cine, Las Reglas del Juego, a diptych from Matías Sulansky, an Argentine filmmaker. That one is like probably the most obscure thing on the list. I have no clue. I saw those through screeners from my film festival in Dallas here. The last one, a short film pre drum kit, which we covered on Lucky Star by Carmen Leroy. And Graham, walk us through your top 10.
Let's see here. So my number one was Two Seasons, Two Strangers by Shomiake. My
Coming
number,
theaters
yeah,
2026.
coming to theaters April 24th in the U.S. A little biased here. Um, Where to Land by Hal Hartley, which I was sad like more people didn't include, like, and barely got covered in the U.S. Like I didn't see too many reviews. Bad Girl, which is on your list. Which, yeah, like I said, I do think a number of people kind of came to this from us. I can't remember how I first heard of it. I think maybe your co-editor Nathan put it on our radar. And I remember
Right.
it. Oh, do it.
No, I think you saw it first because we were talking about it. Because we were talking about how it wasn't coming to New York, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, like I remember I have a friend who lives in Austin, and I was like, I feel like he'll like this, so I told him to go see it because it did come to Austin, but it didn't come to New York, so I had to wait until it was online. And um, yeah, I mean, I try to like keep up with Indian cinema mainly through like Nathan and Seema, just because they're like much more on top of releases and everything. So they definitely put this on my radar, but I'm also like still, you know, that was the one I guess that stood out to me of like recent stuff that they had been talking about.
Yeah.
So I went out of the way to see that for sure. Next for me was Nuestra Tierra, which is Lucrecia Martel's newest film, which actually I think just got picked up for distribution. I don't. I think it'll come out this year. Next is Escape, the Masao Adachi film. Next one is Ella McKay, which was on your list also. Uh, then What Does That Nature Say to You, Hong Sung Soo. Yasuko, Songs of Days Past, which is what you watched for this. Revelations of Divine Love, which will also be coming to theaters later this year via me. Um,
Yeah,
and the,
two seasons, two strangers, we should say,
yeah,
and Revelations of Divine Love, two films that you are going to be releasing in the United States
yeah,
theatrically.
and so I mean, I feel like my last like 3 years or so, like films that I've distributed have been at the top of my list, and that is, definitely me being biased, but I also genuinely, if I wasn't doing distribution, like those are the films that I would love. But I also, why I kind of like distribution in some ways is I get to spend a lot of time with the films.
Mm-hmm.
So by the end of the year, like for Seven Walks to Mark Brown, which is my favorite film of last year, which I distributed, but like I saw that film like 5 times or whatever through the course of the year, and like every time I just really really loved it more. Um, or like the year before that, Coconut Head Generation, which I distributed. It was another film that I just like saw, and like so I think my appreciation deepened on a number of levels. Obviously I'm biased, but I'm lucky because since I'm not in this for money and I make no money off of this, like um, I get to just work on stuff I really like because it's kind of like why else would I do this if I didn't. So yeah, that's kind of my explanation, I guess, for why I you know often have a lot of films that I'm distributing on my list. The other thing is like I'm a little bit of a contrarian in some ways, but it's like genuine contrarianism where like I often do find myself like not really aligning with a lot of like the major lists, but I also just get really bored with like every list being like from the same like distributor, I guess, here or whatever, or it's all kind of like the films that have the most money or like films that have a for your consideration campaign, or like those are always the best films every year. Like is a little like tiring to me. Um, and then finally, sorry for the tangent, was "Fuck the Police" by Rita Azevedo Gomes, which yeah, I don't know if that'll ever come out here, but
No, it's. I think
hopefully.
Neon picked it up actually.
Yeah.
Strong push for the best
Yes,
international feature.
yes, it's their Oscar submission.
I'm sure Portugal was like, we got to get that movie out.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
got to submit that one.
yeah, exactly. So
Actually, Greece and Portugal were like both like, oh, we want it. What a
Yeah.
civilian.
Yeah, they're fighting over it.
Wait, so you're telling me that there's no money in film distribution? You sure about
Yeah.
that? You
Yeah,
sure?
yeah, yeah. No, I mean, like basically to go a little inside baseball. I think people that are listening to film podcasts would care about this, I guess. But like I started out as a filmmaker, and during the pandemic, I was very fortunate and I got like I was getting my salary and I was getting money from like I was basically getting unemployment like on top of my salary because my pay had been reduced or whatever. So the city was like trying to help pay people. So I was almost
Oh,
basically I
must
was
be
able to
nice.
save a
Must
yeah I
be.
know it was like a very like insane thing. But so I saved up money from that and I was like gonna make another film, but I didn't really have any ideas that I was like super passionate about. So having worked in like film marketing and distribution and stuff, I was like, maybe I could try to do something. So that's how I kind of got involved, and I like put in some money to distribute Axel Repairs films, which Lucky Star wrote about. Um, and that was kind of a coincidence in some ways. I mean, like I feel like we all like our love for her films. We talked about her and stuff, but I feel like we have kind of become better friends even since then. Like I wouldn't say we were like super close necessarily before. I mean, we've known each other online for a long time, but anyway, all that is to say that it was slightly coincidental. You guys had all this Axel repair stuff in the works when the retrospective was going to happen. I know you kind of made a push to get it out there and to launch Lucky Star and everything. So basically, yeah, I've just been kind of taking the money that I'm making from that and putting it into the next thing. Um, the only things that are actually like making money now are like if you get a deal with Criterion Channel or like another streamer, like they'll just pay you an upfront sum. Um, and now like I have this deal with Vinegar Syndrome where I'm putting out Blu-rays, and it's not a lot of money, but like so far I don't think any of the Blu-rays have paid for themselves yet. But I'm I'm getting to the point where I think that'll just continue to break even. So I think worst case scenario, I can at least transition to just putting out Blu-rays, even if I like, because theatrical is just like it's so expensive and doesn't make any money, and it's just like I don't know. You need. I mean, I get why the best films of the year always have the biggest marketing budget because they're the ones that deserve all the money. So
That was
that was a joke.
no, I registered it as a very grim joke.
Yeah,
A very grim joke.
because
Uh,
this is something I've been thinking about. Unrelated, a little tangent here, I guess. Um, but I genuinely think like what's the big like foreign film this year? I guess like not Surat, but like
Sentimental value or like
yeah.
a
So
secret.
sentimental value, I feel like is perfect, right? Like people are seeing that and loving it, regardless of the quality of the film. I haven't seen it. Um, I feel like there are 30 films from last year that if they were positioned in all of the same ways from a marketing and like festival standpoint, people would like just as much. The general audiences would like just as much. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think Sentimental Value is like an exceptional film, and that's why it's done this. And again, I'm not talking about quality or anything like that because I haven't seen it and I don't know. And I'm not saying the other films aren't good either that could be in its place. It's just there's so much kind of arbitrary barrier to entry for films to kind of enter like the public consciousness, I guess, and it's mostly money.
Yeah, I mean the way that a film enters the market, if you will, is totally dependent on money, right? So Sentimental Value has what's her name, Elle Fanning, has a Stellan Skarsgård or whatever. People who are like familiar from Hollywood, uh, has that prime can competition slot, which automatically announces it as like, okay, this is a serious movie.
It's
And now Cannes
important.
has become this sort of, I don't know, it feels like an accidental launching pad for like Oscars,
Right.
specifically
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and especially like, and it used to be just kind of like international like language international films that were just for that category. But now after Parasite, but well, there might be some like, above the line like actors might be nominated, like Wagner Mora for The Secret Agent, or like half the entire cast of Sentimental Value is nominated. Which like you go back to like 2018, like well, maybe in 2018, 2018 was Roma. That doesn't count. Before that, like that was very very rare. Like Michael Haneke and Almodovar would be like get like a single Best Director nomination plus their best non-English language Oscar or whatever, and they'll be on their merry way. But now you have Penelope Cruz is being nominated for Parallel Mothers. You have when Almodovar kind of gets his actors nominated, but now you have Joaquin Trier, you have Secret Agent, you have getting the what's his name, Jafar Panahi getting like screenplay nominations,
Right,
and
exactly.
that so it all comes back to that launching pad of Cannes because that's like the big market, right? Once you
Hmm.
have that stamp on your passport, if you will, you kind of travel anywhere, right? You get once you make it to that stage, you have access to like the biggest distributors. People are bidding on your movie. Like in Neon's like, we want to get the movie that wins the Palme d'Or like 10 years in a row. They
Right.
have like 4 out of 5, if not all five, of like the best international
Four
films.
four out of five. The fifth is
In Rajab, right?
yeah,
The
Job, which is I think Kino Lorber or something maybe.
right. I didn't know they had sold it, but basically at that point it's like, well, it's like you have like little uh they have money, so they're
Hmm.
able to just buy their buy those films into the conversation next to a Sinners, next to a uh, uh, One Battle After Another or whatever. Like Sentiment of I think got like 9 Oscar nominations,
Yeah,
which is like insane to me.
yeah.
But also it's a type of I mean I again haven't seen it either, so you have to forgive me here. Um, it's just like it's seems to me like a movie that's not challenging. It's not like formally challenging. It's not politically challenging. It's just like this movie seems like a nice drama that people will relate to. That has like nice, has kind of maybe slightly unconventional storytelling, perhaps, but still with like a very recognizable paradigm of realism, of acting, screenwriting, directing. Uh, if you were to put, if Neon were to say, you know what, we're gonna put our marketing muscle behind Hong Sang Soo's "What Does That Nature Say to You?"
Right.
Uh, if that movie was in the Cannes competition and you put it side by side to a Sentimental Value, it doesn't make sense. Like there's certain movies that even if they're make it to that stage, they're not gonna they don't move in the same way. They don't look the same way. They don't deliver this like same emotional catharsis, if you will, that a movie like Sentimental Value seems like it does.
Sure. I feel
I
like the
swear.
Hong and Trier is like a very big, gap. I'm saying even like uh, this is gonna sound like a diss to her films, and I don't mean it at all because like I love her films and I think they're very complex, obviously. But like, if Neon were to have seen like the Wahlberg family at Cannes where it did premiere,
Yeah.
say obviously Neon didn't exist, blah blah blah, but like I could see that at this point being something like resonating with audiences enough that that could be a film that would be nominated for 10 Oscars or whatever. I think a lot of it is like the industry itself is like delusional about their role in things too, or like, you know what I mean? Like, I think if you talk to someone that works at a big company, they would be like, and I'm doing it too, even as one guy, so I'm not saying it's bad, but just like, oh no, the films I'm working on are the best films of the year, and it's like that's objective because and like that's why I'm working on them, and that's what I'm saying too. So I get that that's why it's at every level. Um, I don't know. Does that make sense? Like, because I get what you're saying that like yeah, like sentimental value has a star, it has or multiple stars even. It has like a director whose last film, Worst Person in the World, which I also didn't see, so I'm not saying the quality, but that was a very like big movie for a lot of people. Like I feel like I heard about that from non film people. And I feel like it sounds also very obvious to say, well, of course, if you put more money into advertising a film, more people will hear of it. Um, I'm almost saying that more that the films in some ways are interchangeable. Like if you put a lot of money behind a film that on the surface at least has, you know, semi-traditional storytelling or whatever, like and semi well-known actors, whatever, like you could position those films the same way, but it's more that the other things don't line up, I guess.
There's probably like in the case of Excel Repair movie like the Wahlberg family or Missing the Doctors or so. I feel like if you put those in front of a random person who was not entirely predisposed to hating movie with subtitles, would say like, yeah, that's like a nice family drama. You know,
Sure,
like
yeah.
those like family will work. Like that movie makes me cry. That movie makes me cry. And you know, what else do you want? Like I'm sure like sentimental value made people cry, and that's one of the reasons why it's resonated. But some movies just reach that place, and once they reach that status, it's like, well, you're here. That means that you belong.
Hmm.
That means you're gonna be in the New York Film Festival. That means you're gonna be at Toronto. That means you're gonna be at Telluride, and you're gonna be on that path because it's kind of decided. Someone once you enter that stage, it's kind of like and someone puts money behind you. Like there's a path that it has to take in order for that investment to be worth it.
For
And
sure.
because everyone's looking for the return on investment. The return on investment is obviously money, box office, but also it's like prestige for the studio, distributor, etc.
Yeah.
A movie like Sayada, which is
Oh,
in
good segue.
which is was in my top 10.
Professional podcaster here.
The movie like Sayada, which is in my top 10, I could put that movie in front of my mom.
Yeah.
It's like a fucking Nicholas Sparks movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a Nicholas Sparks movie. I don't want to like taint it from by talking about that, but by kind of talking too much about it. But uh, Graham, this is the movie that you picked for my top 10 that you hadn't seen. I think because I think you had seen most of them already. But what made you want to pick this one?
I mean, it was just a movie I wanted to see in general. Basically off of just talking to you and Nathan and Seema about it. Um, I also have just because of like certain programming and distribution things, I've been watching a ton of Japanese cinema already. So I was like, I would have maybe picked My Beloved Stranger, but I went with Sayara because um, yeah, kind of I feel like I'm not as good as I was at keeping up with Indian cinema, so I was like, this is a good chance. I sort of didn't realize going into the film that this was like one of the biggest like box office successes of last year. Um, I didn't realize that the two leads, this was kind of like their first leading roles. I don't know anything about the director, although I know he's been making stuff for like 20 years or something at least. So
So Sayara is a film from last year, directed by Mohit Suri, starring, like you said, introducing, launching the two new actors, Ahan Pandey and Anit Pada, who are like the Anit Pada plays Vani, who is a writer slash journalist slash poet or something, who meets
lyricist.
who meets Ahan Pandey's character Krish, who is a bad boy singer
Oh yeah,
songwriter with a heart of gold,
yeah.
uh, and they basically kind of meet up at this. I was trying to think of like what to call her place of business. The place where she works is like some sort of like not a TMZ, but like a
It's like
weird
a
like
BuzzFeed. Isn't it
buzz.
even called like Buzzlist or something?
Yeah, you're right, Buzzless. That's what it was. So they meet
Um,
there, and that's where they meet when he basically assaults one of the editors at their site
right.
for writing like a review that only mentions like the nepo baby who is in their
Yeah.
group. They meet there, and by chance, he happens to read her journals, and he discovers that she's like a great writer, and so they start to collaborate by chance on a song. And the movie kind of is their love story uh,
Right.
as they collaborate and as he strives for stardom. Graham, I guess, what do you think about Sayada?
So I really liked it. I think like immediately I felt really confident in just like the choices the director is making, because like you said, it does, obviously it's like a very intense melodrama, but there's just like some really kind of intelligent and quick choices like right from the beginning. Like I feel like immediately, the film opens and she's like being left at the altar essentially,
Yeah,
and there's just this moment where we're just seeing the character. Obviously we know that being left at the altar for anyone is like probably devastating, but it's also like I don't know this person at all, like the movie's just starting, and there's just this really quick cut to the her parents are standing outside of the car, like trying to come into the wedding, and the mom kind of sees her from from afar. I feel like the look that her mom gives her, and I think her mom, someone has just told the mom also that he's not showing up for the wedding. The look that the mom gives her, like immediately, just kind of conveys the weight of the situation, or at least like was just my in for feeling really connected with the story. Um, and it was just sort of the way the mom was framed from a distance, and then obviously like it cuts into like she faints, and then there's like a great POV shot of the camera falling and the mom running towards her,
yeah,
and
yeah,
all that. I like all that stuff too, but yeah, just that first kind of moment of the connection between the mom realizing that she's being left just was like very. I was just like immediately kind of drawn in, and then same with as soon as you see Krish for the first time, he's like riding by on his motorcycle, and she kind of notices him, and it's just like a really classic, but also like very subdued character entry. Like I don't think we see his face really, and it's like I I just sort of liked the way that these typical melodramatic moments are almost like underplayed in a way. Like um, I know there's the payoff of like when we finally see him and he's smoking and getting off the motorcycle, and there's the
yes,
payoff of the camera falling and the mom running towards the camera. But like those first moments that like build to that are so small that yeah, just kind of I don't know, it really worked for me. And then I think I messaged you after like as the I don't know if we want to spoil kind of like the what ends up being like actually the main conceit of the film, because it doesn't start until like an hour in or a little more, but that was just like so sad. I mean, the whole second half is just like really sad. Um, so it's not the easiest watch. I mean, obviously, it ends on kind of like a hopeful note. Um, but yeah, it's a pretty brutal movie, honestly. So it's kind of interesting to me that this was like such a big hit.
yeah. The Sayada, I saw it, and I think I just like you. I was immediately caught by okay. This guy's making some like intelligent choices. It's quick. It's quick, but it kind of gets it gets everything across in a way that's not like overbearing. And some of these like and they're not as good Indian films, I would say. And I guess when melodrama goes wrong, I would say it's like you need a little bit of like you better a little bit of like salt or something to make the meal go better. And then
Yeah.
I don't know, in some films you just go like just put a whole bunch of and it just messes up everything because you're like the hand is way too hard and like the touch is way too strong or too hard. And here, obviously, you're dealing with material that's like you said, it's like tragic, it's difficult, it's meant to make you cry. Nicholas, I mentioned Nicholas Sparks. That's not accidental. Uh, and but at the end, but at the at the forefront of everything is kind of this idea that I really like, which is not exclusive to Indian cinema, but I see it a lot there. This idea of like of launching an actor, launching like two actors, complete like unknown, not maybe not unknowns, but two fresh faces to the industry, is saying like, hey, this film is not just about the story, but also or like about making you cry. It's also about introducing these two actors to the world.
Sure.
Uh, Now, in the case of Indian cinema, what does that mean? It's usually like someone's son, someone's cousin, someone's brother. Like, hey, come on, join the family business type of thing. And yeah, like Ahan Pandey Krish, I think is like someone's son or someone's cousin or something. The Pandey name is I think Chunky Pandey maybe related. Forgot to look that up. But it's all in this movie. It's about the freshness of these two actors kind of coming together to sell us this movie fantasy of an impossible love that transcends all logic, all physical reality to uh, kind of like there's one part maybe like near the middle of the film where I think they're together and like they're looking at like the night sky and they're talking about like the distant star, which kind of like
Yeah.
signifies the outsized nature of their love, right?
Hmm.
That type of thing with these young, fresh actors is type of thing that I guess it's just fun. It's just like a fun thing to witness. Even uh, like with in the case of Ahan Pandey, for example, there's this. I don't know if you have. I don't know if you've seen Rockstar. You seen Rockstar?
I haven't. No, I need to see it.
So it's a Imtiaz Ali film from 2011. Now that movie is Ranbir Kapoor like at his apex, but also it's like a very it's a movie about like him and his most self-destructive,
Hmm.
uh, where he's told in order to be a great musician or to be a great artist you have to experience pain, and the movie is like kind of like teaching him that lesson by basically breaking his heart and by breaking his heart. In this movie, you can see a lot of like of Ranbir Kapoor in Ahmed Pandey's work. Uh, there's a at the end his final performance where he's like where he's the final performance of the concert. That's like I feel like it directly lifted from Rockstar, and you feel some of those moves. But the difference between that movie and this one is much nicer. This one's much nicer because Ahmed Banday's character Krish, he has his backstory of like dealing with his alcoholic father, and at first you're like shocked by the violence of how he treats his father, and then that immediately gets like undercut because he loves him, he takes care of him, he's just frustrated,
That's another
and
great introduction. Just to interrupt you real quick, is like when you see the dad and you know immediately, like you just see this man, like kind of wander out into the road, and it's like it just the whole story immediately appears from this one cut. But sorry, keep going.
no, yeah, but basically what I'm saying is that the movie never allows its characters to be too too bad basically like
Mm-hmm.
there's a moment there's moments later on when like one character kind of loses it and kind of like harms another one, but it's within the framework of the story you understand why it's done versus like the violence in the movie like Rockstar is much more complicated, much more thorny. In this one, like the ending of the film, for example, again I'm not going to spoil it, but there's like a post kind of like a credit scene
Mm-hmm.
that kind of puts like a hopeful tilt to the story, right? And in Rockstar, like it's just it tells you that it's a little bit nice. It's like a nice version of the story without like the optimistic version of the story. And I think it works because of the two young actors who are kind of like almost like reciting from like an ancient script, if you will, or like some archetypes that have existed for like 30, 40 years, right? Um, and seeing them together, especially like the moment I think I singled out when I wrote about this movie was the first time they kiss, like during the concert, and it feels like this honestly like, perfectly staged moment where like they see each other in the audience in the middle of the concert and they're like kind of pushed together by the audience and it seems like they're like magnetically attracted to one another and it's kind of a little bit funny because they're looking at each other very intently, and then they're like, "Go!" They're like they're pushed by people around them to get closer together. Uh, that sort of thing is to me just beautiful. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I could watch stuff like that all the time.
It's great.
I think I even wrote when I wrote about this movie. I said like you can just ignore this pick. I mean, I just like stuff like this.
Mhm.
Critical faculties, whatever. I mean, I just like a good romance melodrama like this
Yeah.
with a fantastic soundtrack. I'm just all in. I'm
Yeah, the
all in.
music was amazing.
Um,
You
well,
really believe like these are like hits, you know?
yeah. Well, what was funny is like the that song that's playing at that moment when they first kiss. It happens in the middle of this concert for this other character. I think his name is like Prince.
His name's Prince, yeah.
Right, and you're wondering like how do the songs that Chris writes, how do they fit this guy?
Yeah.
Because Prince is like this. I don't know. He's like some sort of rapper, or like
They say he's like rapping R and B, but it's
rap and
really
R and
just like
B.
rap.
And
And then yeah,
Chris's
Chris
songs,
plays him this like power ballad, and then they're like, he's like, Prince is like, this is amazing, but make it hip hop. I'm just like,
so yeah, like this is great, 5 stars. Where do I rap? Where can I
yeah,
rap in this song?
yeah.
Where can I rap in this? And part of the tension between the two characters, Krish and Bonnie, is that Krish is like, you know what, I'm collaborating with Prince because it'll help me further my career. And Bonnie looks at him like very seriously, like no, a song is like meaningful. A
Hmm.
song is more meaningful than that, right? A song is like poetry. A song is like once you hear it, once you hear the words, once you listen to the music, you're forever changed. Uh, and that tension between them, that's like it's like a fucking like a Star is Born type of thing,
Yeah.
where the where like the tensions between the poetic aspirations of one character toward music and toward life kind of meet headfirst into the realities of actually being a working musician. But in the movie resolves that by being like, fuck it, let's doesn't that, none of that matters actually. None of that matters because these two people are like awesome together.
Hmm.
Sayada, I'm sorry, I'm like messing with this my sandals. I'm like in my sandals.
Oh,
It's my relaxing time. Here talking to
nice.
you, Graham, about
I'm wearing
movies.
under below my t-shirt. I have a full suit on.
Oh yeah, you showed up. Like
Yeah.
this is a business meeting for you. This is a business meeting. Uh, Sayada, again, like when I put it in my top 10, I think I replaced it. I think I had like Paul Thomas Anderson under first, and I was like, nah, I don't feel good about this.
Mm-mm.
Fuck it, let's
I was
put in
making you
Sayada.
sick.
Let's put in this movie. There's like
I told you though I was gonna withhold my ballot until you took Paul Thomas Anderson off.
yes, you were holding me hostage. Well, you didn't know I would put in Sayada in its place.
Well, I think there's a clear through line. I mean, people who have like read your writing or followed your taste, like I know that you're kind of a sucker for melodrama, but I also find I usually trust. I mean, these are very different films, I guess. But like, if someone like, I feel like there's a number of films on your list that if you were to show like the average person, they'd be like, "What the what the hell is this movie?" Like, why does this guy like this? And then like you can read your writing and find really nice reasons why. But
Yeah, I always joke about people like actually seeing the shit I write about, and then
yeah,
they go into like, what the hell?
what's this guy talking
What the
about?
hell is what is this? And and then they stop taking me seriously immediately.
Yeah,
I'm like, this guy put this fucking boy and dog movie in his top
yeah,
10.
yeah, yeah,
This like soppy like melodrama. Like, oh god.
yeah, yeah.
Um, uh, Graham, is there anything else you want to say about Sayada before we move on to the
Nope,
other film?
nothing.
Nothing. We hit everything.
We covered it. Yeah.
I should say Mohit Suri is like a guy who I really don't know him that well. I know, like you said, he's been writing like 20 years of a career. I assume some of them must be good. Because
Yeah,
based on this, I feel like he has chops. He has like, yes, he has thing. He has like he definitely has a way of staging like these romantic scenes, and he knows how to work with the songs, how to integrate them. The movie doesn't have like traditional like numbers, if you will. It's all like montage, and it's all woven in into advancing the story, or part of an actual performance, which is motivated by the story, and kind of makes all of that work. You should feel in safe hands. I'm told that one of his previous films, Half Girlfriend, is like a complete disaster. It has like a very notorious reputation of just being dog shit.
yeah. Just from like going through Letterbox mutuals ratings of his films, there were only a couple that seemed to be higher than like 2 stars. But I'm
Uh,
still curious. But he also, I could see this film being almost like a mid-career slash slightly older person's film, where like he has kind of maybe like simplified what he's doing or something. You know, like um, obviously I don't know because I haven't seen, but I think there's also just like kind of a nice tension between the young performers and the way the film is shot. Of like, yeah, you're seeing this like these unmolded or whatever stars in this like really kind of just like competent workman film, and it like carries the energy really well, I think, of them. And like I said, like going in, I didn't know that that this was like their first starring role or anything. But you can definitely feel, I mean, like especially they're one, they're just like both really young. So I knew obviously they hadn't been around that long, but also, yeah, there's just like a really nice kind of energy to them where they do feel like, there's another level of like buy-in from them, I guess, that I think carries the melodrama too. But
I know that I'm looking at his filmography right now. Ashiki 2 is like the thing, the big one.
yeah,
Ashiki,
yeah.
which is like another version of Star is Born. So I feel like
When I read that this was supposed to be like a sequel
Ashiki
to that,
3.
yeah.
I think it's supposed to be like an Ashiki 3, and then it got spun off into being a separate film.
Mm,
Ashiki 3 might still happen. I'm not sure, but with a different
okay.
team. I don't know. We should have
We should
I
have
think we
him
should.
on. Let's get him on the next episode.
I was gonna say we should have like Nathan as the producer,
I thought, no,
and
let's get Mohit like to let's interview him for the next one.
let's do like we need him to fact check us on anytime we pick up like idiots to him. I'm like, hey, Nathan, can you hop on the mic? Just to tell us exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Um, I remember he had a movie called Ek Villain. I didn't
Well,
realize
you
he
can.
directed
There'll
it.
probably be angry comments below this from Nathan that will correct everything he said. So then
Oh
that's
yeah,
what you can read. The whole audience can read that.
yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. Actually, I
Yeah.
welcome that. Graham, from your top 10, I chose the film Yasuko Songs of Days Past, directed by Kichitaro Negishi. I think this premiered in Rotterdam, maybe like I think Rotterdam of last year, 2025.
I would
Definitely a
believe that.
movie that pretty sure no one saw.
No. Um, I saw it because so basically there's a festival in New York called Japan Cuts that my friend Alexander programs. Um, and I try to there's a number of festivals around New York. I try to do my research and see what films seem of interest for any of those. If I actually go to them is another question.
Yeah.
um, but for Japan Cuts this year, the two films I was like, I need to see these was Yasuko, which we're going to talk about, and then She Taught Me Serendipity. Um, and I mean, She Taught Me Serendipity was probably more on my radar because of you, and then Yasuko's on my radar because I've seen at least two. So I'm not like an expert or anything, but at least two of Kichitaro Negishi's films. Um, in particular, I really, really love this film he has called Detective Story. from the 80s,
Yeah.
which that was sort of like a culmination for me of like I was during the pandemic I got into like a bunch of kind of disparate things. One of them was like 80s. I was watching a ton of 80s Japanese movies. I was also getting really into like private eye kind of literature. And so like I see this film right at the perfect moment and I just like adored it. So then I sought out some of his other films. I saw Distant Thunder, maybe some others I can't remember, but those two are from what I had read were the one the main ones to see, I guess. So I saw he has a new movie. I mark it in my calendar. Gotta go see it. I love an I love his films and I love an older filmmaker. So and I loved the trailer, just like the look of it. It's very digital, very odd look. Just it stood out even if I didn't know his films. I think. So yeah, let me hear what were your thoughts on the film.
Right.
That's kind of my
So
setup.
Yasuko Songs of Days Past. Hadn't seen a film by this director before. I kind of when I after I watched it, I looked up like the filmmaker. I was like, oh yeah, and I saw. I was like, oh yeah, this guy did direct Detective Story. I always wanted to watch that. He did like I think a bunch of Pink films in like late 70s. And this is his first film in like 15 years, I think. 15 years. His last one was Beyond's Wife.
But yeah, from like 2009 or
Yeah,
something.
2009, 2010 with
Which I'm curious about. A lot of his like later stuff looks really good.
yeah, I mean from like what I could tell, it seemed like he was pretty he kind of like reached like popularity peak in the late 80s and he kind of slowed down in the 90s. Uh but yeah, uh so this movie by the way, I should say this movie is like takes place in like the 1920s. 1920s and spans like maybe like period of it's hard to tell uh like maybe like a 12 to 15-year period, and
Sure.
it's centered on Yasuko, who is a kind of like an actress during that time. But I would say like the other focus is Chuya Nakahara, uh, who is apparently this very famous poet uh, who lived in those times, who was kind of like a who I guess became famous posthumously. Really, like, after he died in the late 30s is really when I guess his popularity became more pronounced. Uh, and he, from what I can tell, by the way, I should say like I watched this movie. I downloaded it illegally,
Oh my
and
god.
the I know like, but the reason why I tell you this is because the subtitles for the movie, whoever did the fan subtitles, put like a ton of historical stuff, like the historical context, into the subtitles,
Well,
which I
hey,
feel like would have been completely. I would have never known about any of this. And like,
yeah.
so Chuya Nakata was a famous poet in his time. He was deeply influenced by Arthur Rimbaud, I think is how you say it.
Yeah.
And the movie takes place. The movie is about his relationship with Yasuko. The actress was like when the movie starts. I think he's like 17. She's like 20 maybe,
Hmm.
and they become embroiled in this love triangle with this critic played by Masaki Okada, and the movie just kind of follows them along as their relationship evolves and changes over the years. Uh, the cool thing about watching this movie through illegal through illegal means, not in the movie theater, was that they put like the poems on the screen.
Ah,
I mean, I know the subtitles like they put the subtitles like they sub it right, but they put like the entire poem on the
interesting.
screen with the subtitles, and they actually tell you like, okay, this is the poem, this is where we're taking the translation from, like from this book,
Oh wow,
and they tell you like, okay, this is where you can find the actual poem,
that's pretty
and who
cool.
translated it, like what year it came out. And I was
Sure.
like, I kind of like paused the movie, and I was like, man, this poem is really good. This poem is really good. I
Yeah.
feel like if you watched it in the theater, you'd be like, well, this poem sounds good, but like I felt like I could actually go back and read it.
Yeah.
I
That's
paused the
awesome.
movie and I just read the poem again. And I was like, okay, this is good. Because in the movie, I think the movie has this conception of poetry, at least the Nakahara character as this kind of like ecstatic vision that arrives, and he kind of like says the poem out loud, and voila, there it is. Which is not
Mm-hmm.
really like a, I guess, a vision of like of creation that I particularly subscribe to.
Mm.
Uh,
That's not how you write Drunk for Life.
no, not man. Drunk for Life is is a done after months of revisions. Yeah, but the movie kind of like, and I'll say this: I like this movie, although it was about a period of time I had really no clue about, or is about things I once again did not know anything about. I was glad the subtitles gave me some of the historical context regarding these characters. But what interested me was after I saw the film, I saw an interview with the director like, from on the Rotterdam website, and he was talking about how Nakahara was this poet
Mm.
who was basically like assigned to high school kids during his generation, and he was someone that people would know, right? He was someone that people would know and would have maybe studied one of his poems when they grew up. So this is like a well-known historical figure, and it struck me as interesting that basically what I was thinking was like, so you kind of made a movie, like you kind of like it would be like if I made like a, I don't know, like a Great Gatsby, Great
Right.
Gatsby
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
movie, and
F.
that's
Scott
how it,
Fitzgerald biopic.
exactly. So like we see it as this kind of like niche historical subject that we wouldn't know
Right.
anything
Right.
about,
Yeah.
but in
Yeah.
Japan it's like they're making like this movie about this poet who is very well known, is kind of like a national figure of some renown, I guess, in historical and literary circles. So that just struck me as just very funny. That's very funny because his last movie, Villan's Wife, is an adaptation of a novel by Osamu Dazai, who is another extremely well-known like literary figure in Japan. In Japan, so I'm like, okay, so these last two movies are like these very almost like prestige films, uh, and I don't really know this director, so I was kind of just curious what about just the idea behind making the film. Um, Something that you pointed out that I really caught my interest was also the very heavy digital look of the film, because I kept imagining this film being made like in 1981, 2001, right, on film. Um, Something that he said, the director said in the interview, basically was like, if you want to make a samurai film, if you want to make like those warring period films with like the shogunate or whatever, yeah, they still have those sets, right? Those that's very easy for them to find and to rent and to make costumes for and all that stuff, because that tradition is still going. But the period for this film is like this strange in between period where that doesn't really exist anymore. So it's like these sets are all kind of have to be created. Uh, they have to be like decorated. All has to be kind of invented anew. And and obviously because of that, I think it limits. It kind of pushes you as a filmmaker inside, because you can't like just take your camera out to the world and just film it, right? So you're so much of the filming like, takes place inside like their little cramped apartments. Uh, them just like I think Yasuko, so many scenes of her are like just in darkness waiting for someone to come home
Right.
so she
Right.
can like do something. Uh, and then when you actually do go out into the world, it's like a sliver of the world. It's like the sliver they could recreate, right? And when you do go outside into the world, I kept thinking like, I wonder how much of this is like composite. I'm like, I just saw like the VFX, a reel that they did for like After the Hunt, and I'm wondering, okay, there's one part where they're like in front of this big, like almost like the ending shot or close to the ending, where like they're on this little bench and there's like a some sort of barn behind them.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
kept thinking like seems like a composite.
Hmm.
This seems like this wasn't there,
Hmm.
and I kept wondering about what it meant as a director to film this world that maybe like in 1981 you could have filmed this, on film, without this digital manipulation of the world. And I kept wondering how this director kind of felt about that, because I don't know, it sort of fascinated me, this question of how to recreate this world within the means that you have, where and if it means like setting it all inside like this one little room, if it means just shooting this one part of a set that you can kind of make realistic enough, and if you have to go outside into the world and using all these tools of like modern digital filmmaking to get it across, and how that's like a it's like creates like a mishmash of effects that are hard to square away together into one like satisfying film. I liked it. It's just very strange movie in those terms. Sorry, that was like my entire reaction. I'm wondering what you thought.
No, I mean, I think that's interesting what you're saying, and like, I feel like these are things like you're a filmmaker, also, like we think about as filmmakers, that I wonder what like a general audience's takeaway is from it. Like, are they even kind of noticing that it looks, so digital or so odd? Um,
I feel like specifically the shot I'm thinking of. Um, it just felt weird. It looked odd. It didn't feel entirely cohesive in a way that I think a general audience. I mean, I consider myself a general audience, really. I would have been like, okay, that felt weird. That kind of threw me off. Um, and there's other parts where, like the image just has like this sheen of manipulation to it. Versus, I don't know whether it's in the color correction or not, or it just felt like, okay, like really, it feels slightly unnatural in a way that I wonder if this was even a possibility. Like, I'm going back to like 81, because that's like, you'd be like shooting on film stock, shooting on film stock, than like probably a real set or something.
well, and
Uh,
then you're only like 50, 60 years removed from when the movie's set or whatever. It's like,
yeah, that was it. Was those type of things are they don't I would say like they don't occur to me as often. Whether you start to think of yourself, I wonder, you want to talk to the director a little bit, like, hey, I wonder like if he would have done this differently back then, or if this was like this digital manipulation, this kind of work with the color, if that's just something that 16 years have passed since his last movie. Like, I wonder how much of this is like pure artistic intention of like, yes, I want to work with these tools to make this film, and I want to work with like and I didn't look this up. I want to work with a cinematographer who's working with all these tools already. I'm like, suggest this camera package, suggest these lenses, has a
yeah.
workflow that they're kind of accustomed to, and maybe this director who has been out of the game for like 15 years is like, all right, well, let's try that out.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder about things like that too. Like, there's, especially like with an older filmmaker coming back who hasn't, especially in a case like this, I don't know if his last film was digital or not, but like,
It's like
like,
right on the borderline where it could have been. It's like 2009.
yeah.
I feel like
Um,
maybe not. I feel like maybe not.
but then there's like Alan Rudolph, like when he came back and made Ray Meets Helen, and it's like it's almost a similar thing of like this kind of odd compositing of different things. There's all these kind of like digital overlays and like fireworks going off in the background that are like clearly composites or whatever. And yeah, it's just kind of it's one of those things of like because I just love how that looks in general. These kinds of like digital experiments, but yeah, it's like I do wonder, I guess, how much is playing catch up and how much is like no, I'm actively going for this. I mean, and there must be a little bit of a novelty too for these kind of older filmmakers that are getting to work with digital and like kind of seeing the speed and like the like you if you're an older filmmaker and you're sitting with your like editor and you're like, can you put some fireworks right here, and they're like, yeah, and they click and like there's fireworks and you're like, okay, like that's great. You know, like we would have had to reshoot. You know, if we were making this in the '70s. You know, it's like yeah, people weren't really just like yeah. I mean, obviously there were special effects and stuff. I'm just saying like the ease that you have. Like maybe people are like a little more free flowing. And this is all just me speculating, but I
And
think that that could be something.
I say all this, I mean, it's just like one aspect of what interested me about the movie, but I think it's still it does work as an emotional experience. The story, the relationship between Yasuko and Nakahara is kind of like a little bit weird. A little bit weird. She's like, he's this 17-year-old who gets an allowance from parents in order to rent an apartment, and she's kind of a sort of slightly kept woman,
Right.
but not really. So it's like they enter in this weird relationship, which is slightly transactional, um, where it feels like either of them could have the kind of like the upper hand at any given moment. And when the third party enters the scene, that kind of really um, that really like puts that relationship to like, really like a stress test that relationship, if you will. There's a kind of running metaphor. I can't remember if it was like if it's like the limbs, like the two limbs, like both men, Nakahara and the art critic are like the two limbs or that she relies on or something. Do you remember the metaphor?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That she
Um,
needs them to. Can't remember now. I mean,
yeah, she needs them to like be like to walk or to be
yeah,
upright or something. I can't remember, but
she like basically needs them to stand.
yeah,
Um,
because she is unhappy with just one. And when spoilers, she moves on to the other one.
mhm.
Her like neurosis start acting up, and she becomes very like moody and like feels like there's a kind of like bipolar disorder situation going on. Obviously, not prescribed, not yeah, not diagnosed, I should say, but and you start to feel like okay, this relationship between all these characters, they're all moving to through time as everything changes around them. But the movie, I think, doesn't like really explain too much about like okay, here's like here's what Nakahara stature is as a poet now, or here's like 1929, and here's what the art critic Kobayashi is doing. Here's like the movie that she was in, and like explain like her moving through a career, or like he just kind of like lets you catch up to everything. There's like a big jump in time near the end. The thing is, I'm not even sure it was a huge jump in time. I think it was, but I'm not entirely sure how big the jump was. And this is even with the subtitles giving me some of the dates,
Right.
some of the dates.
You had
Um,
extra information.
I have extra information. I'm still not entirely sure. Uh, that kind of like lets you. I think that jump in time really crystallizes kind of like the changes that have happened from the beginning of the film, how these people have grown or not grown, and kind of what they meant to each other. And it kind of recontextualizes the first half of the film, or like the first part of the film, as a basically like a sentimental education for all the characters, right? Um, it didn't feel that way at the time. It didn't feel that way through. I think as you're watching, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like this weird, kind of slightly tempestuous relationship between all three of them
Hmm.
that could be heading toward like a menage a trois situation, but it never does. It never like heads that way. It feels like unresolved in some sense dramatically. So, but the fact that it feels unresolved is kind of what makes it interesting, because it feels like these three people together, it could have been something, and
Hmm.
instead, like the film title says, "Songs of Days Past," it just is kind of like a memory, right?
Right.
And I think like the final outpouring of emotion when I think that Yasuko kind of like cries by herself, that felt earned in a way that really like surprised me, because I thought like the movie had kind of kept that sort of strong emotion at bay for most of the most of the narrative. You know, there was like a lot of like outbursts, right? Like dramatic outbursts. But it was always about kind of like the violence of the moment, of like the violence of Yasuko striking against the two other men. In the final in that one particular moment, the emotion really feels surprisingly hard earned. And that is too kind of that's the part that surprised me. I would say I was fascinated by all like the formal choices and everything, but I was also very surprised by how much emotionally involving those final scenes end up being. And it's like it's just history, right? It feels like history happened to these characters.
Right. I mean, I think like what you're saying about the kind of the very nature of the form of like the way it's moving through time so quickly. I think it does reflect a lot of how it feels because you like you're saying you kind of forget as it's going, but these people are so young and like especially obviously like the poet is like so sure in all of his convictions and everything and like really thinks like he's just like I need to find out what poetry is or like I need like I'm gonna be great like kind of thing. And I do, yeah, I feel like by the end you've sort of you feel the weight of all these kinds of like what's the word like slipshod or something. Isn't there some word like that?
Well, the what?
I don't know. There's some word where it's like everything's kind of flowing by and you're sort of like catching what you can, I guess. And like so it does take on a very like quality a quality of like a memory. Like they're like the title says, like they're just kind of looking back on this and how they've changed and things like that. It builds up more than it is apparent at first. Basically, I'm just agreeing with you.
No,
If that's allowed.
what's funny is that, like you said, like this character is like 17. He's like
Yeah,
the most pretentious 17-year-old in existence.
but I was pretentious when I was 17.
I mean, but people always told you, Graham, I read your poem. You're a genius. I
Yeah,
understand you're a
yeah,
genius.
yeah. Of
Like
course.
I know you're a genius, but I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like
Yeah,
how you are.
yeah. No,
But
people would say you're an idiot, and I don't like how you are. That's what people would say to me.
no, I mean, I'm really glad I watched it. I'm really glad I watched it. I wanted to watch Beyond's Wife. That seemed his previous film because that seemed like thematically in line or at least somewhat close to this one. I just didn't get around to it, but
I
I'm
should
really glad
watch
I caught
that.
up to it.
I should watch that one, and I yeah, like I said, I highly recommend Distant Thunder and Detective Story.
Yeah, I was
Um,
looking him up. He's like a Distant Thunder. I think was like one of the Art Theater Guild films,
exactly. I
and
mean, that's kind
then
of why it seems like he's sort of bounced around a lot. Like you said, I think he started making pink films, then he makes this like Art Theater Guild film, and he's kind of like fitting into all these different molds. I feel like he's a very like
and then
adaptive director.
he's one of the people who like starts like the director's company. I think, which is I think that's right.
Yeah, I'll believe you. I'll believe anything you tell me now.
Graham, who are the Rockets playing next? What's going on there?
Well, so we played the Clippers tonight, and we're playing the Clippers again tomorrow night.
Is it wait? So they
And it's the
have
All Star break.
is is it they're playing in Houston or
They're playing in
they
Houston. Yeah, both nights.
are they both nights in Houston?
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know how this happened scheduling wise, but um, this is the third and fourth time we play the Clippers, so I think we're done with them after this. And then there's the All Star break.
Okay. So he is a founding member of the directors company. I knew that. I knew that was right.
Shingun?
Yes, yes. He's he's uh, he's taking a chance of the All Star game. He's saying, guys, and on the world team, he's saying, hey, we need to start a company.
Yeah.
We need to start a company. We need to
Okay.
start an independent film production company. Uh, Graham, this was the first episode of Drunk for Life. How'd you like it?
I'm drunk for life, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I generally don't know what we're gonna do for episode two. We
Let's
might,
not even upload this, honestly.
no, I think, drunk. So this was like the test episode. Next episode, we're just talking NBA. I'm gonna watch some games. We're gonna watch.
If we get 10,000 views on this, we'll do the next episode.
Right. This is nice. Well, it was nice while it lasted. No, next episode gonna be live coming to you from the All Star game.
Yeah.
I'm working on press access. I'm working on press access.
We're gonna have
Uh,
Kevin Hart as the third mic.
yeah, we're gonna put you in the game. We're gonna put you in the celebrity game.
I
You're
feel
gonna
like
be.
the,
You gonna do
the
that?
co-host of Drunk for Life podcast.
Do they still
Everyone
have like
cheers.
the skills challenge, or they take that
No, like everyone was saying like last year, Chris Paul and Wimbenyama like broke the skills challenge because they like
off because they
cheated
were like
somehow.
kind of like cheating, but not really.
They sort of did, yeah. So I think they're not having it this year.
All right. Well,
Um,
as a replacement, I think we can put you in a dunk contest.
okay, I'm in.
But but they're
But we're
gonna
gonna
rock.
tear my Achilles before before I have to dunk.
No, I mean because dunk contests are just bringing Joes off the street. They can dunk. They're
Mac
not even NBA
McClung,
players. Not even NBA
yeah.
players.
You know the guy
Uh,
Mac McClung?
he's not. He didn't come. He's not coming back this year.
I know because they don't want him to three-peat.
Does he even have like an NBA contract? Is he on a team?
He was like a two-way player for like the Sixers for a while, then maybe was on the Pistons for a second. I don't know.
That seems
You,
against like the spirit of the whole thing. Like you
I
want
know,
like
yeah.
NBA players actually doing that.
But I mean, I just think all the good players were like, we're not gonna dunk because it's like there's kind of no upside. Like you really are just probably gonna embarrass yourself,
Yeah, I mean,
and
they
everyone's
need
just gonna
like
roast you
another like.
online.
Is there another Kia model that we can jump over? Like a
Well, the biggest shame. Oh, excuse me, my God. The biggest shame in Rockets history, honestly, is Jalen Green was in the dunk competition, and his like amazing gimmick was that he dunked while he had like an NFT on his neck or something. Like he had like an iPad with an NFT or something on it. I'm sad to bring this up because I'm hoping people will just forget about this.
oh my god! I didn't know about that.
Yeah, don't look it
Well,
up. No one talk about this.
every time I'm reminded of NFTs, I just start laughing. Oh yeah, that happened. Forgot about.
I know. And people spend like millions of dollars, and who knows?
Well, we're gonna have this episode as an NFT, non-fungible token. So, no one. We're gonna do like the fucking like the Wu Tang Clan.
Yeah. Have some like pharma billionaire buy
This
people
episode.
locked up. Yeah, just this episode.
This is episode. Yeah, man, that's a new model that we're experimenting here at Drunk for
Yeah,
Life.
yeah. I
Each
mean, if
episode
it
can
it
only
only
be
has to
bought.
work once.
Can only be bought by one person.
But if we actually sell it to this one person, we'd be sad.
Yeah. Have you thought about doing? Are you putting several features films on the blockchain? Is, is that
I've
a
thought
thing?
about it. I just don't know how to do it. I would have done that already.
Graham, I think this was good. I liked it.
Yeah, we'll see what the comments have to say.
And well, comments.
We'll see how much hate we get online.
Oh yeah. We're gonna release this episode, but then we're gonna also like as a bonus feature we're gonna talk about. We're gonna release the part before the episode started where you just talked mad shit
Mad shit.
about other people.
Oh yeah, about the entire New York film scene.
Oh yeah. I talk mad shit about the Dallas film community.
Yeah.
Sadly,
Well,
somehow not as much of an issue.
doesn't get as much national attention, maybe,
No,
but
man.
just as messed up.
Oh yeah.
Just as many snakes in the grass.
Graham, I think that's a good way to end it. Talking about NFTs, talking about the Rockets.
Yeah,
Next time you're gonna give me an update, see where they are in the standings.
I know. I hope it's good.
I know we're gonna do like a post All Star break catch up on the Rockets. See where they're at.
For sure.
Graham, this has been fantastic. This was the first episode of Drunk for Life. Hopefully, we have some more for you. And thank you for watching.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.